and welcome to the very first edition of the No Logic Gaming Podcast. The podcast whether you know logic or you have no logic. You decide. I am your host, Blue Coffee, and to my right we have Rizzy.
I like strawberry Pop-Tarts.
And to my left we have Nomi.
I have a disturbing fact for you. Did you know in PT that the monster in PT is always connected to the character behind you? So you're hearing voices and sounds that you think are away from you, but the monster is always following the character.
No way.
So when you see shadows and things like that, it's literally, she's just connected to your character.
Like legit?
Right behind you. Someone debugged the game. They went out into the systems files and things like that, and they zoomed out, and she's always connected to you.
Wow. I didn't
From start to finish.
That's creepy.
Up until when you actually see her in front of you.
That is insane. Well, I guess that's
That
the
was
fun. That's the Nomi's fun fact. I guess we can just keep this going. Disturbing fact of the week.
In other words, that's how he says hello.
Exactly. That's his way of saying hello.
Monsters are always behind you.
He just talks in facts. What can we say? But anyways.
I lie aloud too.
Yes, we are the No Logic Gaming Podcast gamers. And on top of that, we are coming at all of you with a weekly podcast. Weekly, right?
We're doing
weekly? We're doing this weekly.
Yeah.
And the reason for this podcast is because we all decided, or I say we all, the three of us, and Angie, little Angie Cam over here, all four of us decided that we wanted to make a little bit of a, what was it? What's that word that you're using?
I kind of need a release. Right? So what I mean by that
what kind?
is...
All right.
I'm going to explain what kind of release I'm looking for.
We're not even 3 minutes in.
Hey man, look, all I want is someone to talk about video games with. That's it. I used to do this all the time when I was in high school, when I was in middle school, when I was in elementary school. I had friends who'd play games, and I had lots of people to talk about video games with me. Now, I have nobody. As an adult, I have no friends that do this anymore.
Wow.
So you two are my only avenue for sweet release. I'm just talking about video games.
How's the marriage going?
It doesn't involve
this
video
many
games.
sweet releases, but not as satisfying as this one.
That's true. That is true. Well, that's a great segue to get into the podcast. So this podcast is more so designed, that's not your average podcast. It's not your average one.
No.
Right? What this one does is that we have different segments throughout the entire podcast, and it's a rotating, change of topics, right? We talk all about from reviews, trailer talks, down to reactions, games that are near and dear to us, and then also my favorite, the conspiracy corner.
We have Rage and Quit as a topic, which is really fun.
That's true. Right?
And Rage and Quit, the recent game that came out that was just streaming all over the place and trending.
Oh, only up. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's one of the games that would be part of Rage and Quit.
Exactly.
Because you've seen those people rage and quit.
And quit.
Yes.
Exactly. But you can expect a whole bunch of content coming your way. But we want to go ahead and start this off with the very first topic.
Yeah, so did you guys hear about the PlayStation 5 Spider-Man edition that's coming out? Did you see the way it looks?
I did see it.
Did you see how beautiful and elegant and gorgeous and just awe-inspiring it is?
I'm underwhelmed.
I bought the PlayStation 4 version of Spider-Man.
Really?
And I have it at home, and it was one of the best things I purchased because that's when they were switching from the normal to the Pro, PS4 Pro, that came out.
Okay.
So they switched over to that.
Right? Don't tell me you were one of those people who had the 4 and then also got the 4 Pro just because of Spider-Man.
Yeah, I had.
My God!
I had the 4. No, it's not because of Spider-Man. It's because it was the Pro. It was the better version of the PS4. It was the more powerful version.
So
but it's smaller and powerful version.
So you decided to upgrade, but you also got a limited edition.
Exactly. I'm like, I want to upgrade eventually, but hey, now I have a reason to because man, that pretty red with the white webbing.
Did the PS4 edition, did that come with the special controller as well, or was it just the console?
It came with the controller. It was a red controller though.
It was nothing, red controller.
Yeah, there was nothing there are no designs on it. It was just straight red with the white buttons and white trigger buttons. But this one actually has like the PS5 one has because the Spider-Man 2 is coming out and it shows that he's being consumed by Venom or by the symbiote or whatever, one of his villains. So this one is also, it looks like it's being consumed. The PlayStation 5 has these black little layers and webbing trying to cover up the Spider-Man logo.
And then you have
the controller does the same thing.
Then you have the red and the blue on each side.
Yes.
And then you have the spider logo dead center in the touchpad.
Beautiful.
But why Spider-Man?
Well, Sony owns Spider-Man. Sony owns the trademark.
Batman's where it's at.
Batman has not been relevant since the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight series.
Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight
games, yes. But do they own Batman? They don't own Batman.
It's on the PlayStation.
No, that's Warner Brothers.
That's a third-party game, though.
It's a third-party game. They're not gonna have. Yeah, they would have to share the profits with Warner Brothers for every console they sell, just to have a Batman logo.
Forget profits.
Yeah,
Batman is just better than Spider-Man.
Did you just tell a conglomerate to forget about profits?
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Yes, I did. And the reason as to why I'm saying this is because, like, Batman, you're saying Batman is not relevant anymore.
But he was the thing back when Dark Knight came out.
Back when there was crime. So now that there's not any more crime, there's nothing else to save.
So then why release Batman anything? Because now he's irrelevant. Because he's finished his job. He saved Gotham City. There are no more villains apparently.
Which is why
and now we're just gonna give him a console. Come on, man.
Which is why
Spider-Man is literally working right now. He's working hard to clean up his neighborhood.
Spider-Man solved all of Batman's crimes.
But once the crime is stopped and he's retired, it's like a Nobel Peace Prize. You know, you get it after everything.
Nah, because you know how one of my favorite movies right now that came out recently, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Have you all seen this movie?
Beautiful.
Spider-Man
I've not.
Into the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse are one of my two favorite animation movies of ever. Pixar was my thing, but after this came out, I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing.
It's very hard to beat a Marvel type movie though these days. Yeah, just in their production quality.
But this is like all Spider-Man. Miles Morales, I think it's Miles' game. It's Miles'
story.
Movie. Yeah, it's his story. It's his whole thing. But man, it is the most beautiful work of art I've ever seen, and you need to watch it if you haven't seen it, Blue. Like, it's so gorgeous, and you're gonna forget about Batman if you see it because you're gonna fall in love with Spider and Miles Morales.
I guess we'll see. But here's the thing. The question is...
Batman sucks.
Are you... That's not a question. The question is, are you going to get the PS5 Spider-Man version or not?
You know, I don't see the use for it, but here's the cool thing that they have. So if you don't want a new PlayStation 5, because this is not a Pro, this is the same PlayStation 5 I already have, you can just buy the cover.
Or just the controller.
Just the controller or just the plates. And you can remove the current plate you have, and you can put in the Spider-Man one. So that's way cheaper than buying a PlayStation 5.
Why don't they make a Batman version of that? I mean, come on, a Batman plate? Just come up with the little ears. Just give it to me.
Like I said, what does DC stand for?
I forget what it stands for. Disappointing
comics.
Consoles.
Disappointing comics. And he's part of that.
I can't believe we're starting off the podcast.
Look, when James Gunn now since he's leading the DC universe, let's see what he does. He might make Batman irrelevant again. With his movie that's called Batman the Brave and the Bold. That's coming out. That'll be part of like an actual DC universe. We'll see if he does anything. James Gunn he's a mastermind. So
then we'll get a console.
We will get a console. That'll be irrelevant again for Batman. Although, right now he's an old ass dude with a mask on with no superpowers.
Although I will say, the fact that you can change the plates on a PlayStation 5, that really opens up a lot of different novelties as to what you can pick to have on your PlayStation.
Exactly.
Think of the amount of colors or limited edition console types that they could release.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad they went with Spider-Man. No. Obviously, it is in-house.
You were good.
It is one of their most popular titles. But I would like to see some special colors come out, you know. If you think back to when PlayStation 2 was out, you know,
LGBTQ colors.
They had sure, why not?
Yeah,
I mean, but they had like the midnight blue, they had the ocean blue, they had Sakura, which is like the cherry blossom color that was out in Japan.
I'm waiting for Batman like to come out of your mouth at any point at this point.
So, you're gonna be holding for a while.
So a black console with a little bit of yellow on it.
Yeah.
Man, whatever. I'm over this now. Whatever. Batman did a good job, and he should get his own console, not plate, but console.
You realize if you want to go down that route, just buy an Xbox Series X and put a Batman sticker on it, and it's the same thing.
Okay. All right. Already starting off on a good foot. But yes, that's pretty good. But anyways, I heard something, right? So I don't know too much about this, but Windows has been in the news a lot.
Yeah, Microsoft has been all over the news, taking over every aspect of
by storm.
Yeah, every aspect of like all gaming websites.
But I should really tune the audience into who is the real knowledgeable person when it comes to this. Yours truly, Rizzy McGuire.
Oh my goodness. Help me.
Is this a Lizzie McGuire joke? Oh my god.
I had to try it.
We need to stop this podcast right now.
We've gone down the wrong content creators universe here.
God.
But yes, Rizzy, tell us about the Windows update.
All right. So in our latest update, it seems that Microsoft has played their levels very well. And in California, the federal judge has finally said that they have beaten the ultimate boss, which is the Federal Trade Commission, when the judge allowed them to complete their acquisition of Activision Blizzard. So yes, it is true. Microsoft,
would you call this a monopoly now? Because pretty much everything was owned by Activision Blizzard, and now Microsoft owns Activision Blizzard. What's left out there for Sony to nab or Sony to compete with?
Well, the big one, obviously, Take-Two Interactive, the owner of Rockstar Games. Now, they are still independent out there. Yeah. It doesn't seem like anyone will be taking them over anytime soon.
Yeah, their value is probably incredibly high because, I mean, they have GTA, right? So
they do have GTA. Also, Konami is out there. Capcom is out there. There's still plenty of great studios out there, but Activision, of course, known for Call of Duty, was the big one.
Oh my god.
This is a big multi-cross-platform gaming system. There are millions of players who only play Call of Duty every year out there.
So Windows owns everything at this point?
Not exactly. In order to get this acquisition, they did have to make a few special agreements.
Are you saying that now Call of Duty is exclusive to Xbox moving forward?
Not even close.
Oh, what? Well, do tell.
So in order to convince the judge, Microsoft signed several 10-year agreements, one with Sony and one with Nintendo, to bring Call of Duty onto their platforms at least through 2029.
So all 10 of those Nintendo Call of Duty players will get to still play for the next 10 years.
That's right. So if you are on a Switch, you will actually get to play Call of Duty in an official
Congratulations
capacity.
to the 10 of you.
Okay, out of the three of us, you have a Switch.
I don't play Call of Duty.
Well, now you can.
Well, now you can.
I'll be the 11th. I'm going to be in there. Watch out. Watch out for Nomi.
Watch out for Nomi.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, the deal has not completely closed yet. There's still an issue with the UK market regulator in getting their approval. Now, they were the first to say no to Microsoft, but they have come around after Microsoft's latest win. What we're going to do now is actually, it's surprising because they extended their target date out till October to finish the acquisition, but they also heightened the breakup fee for both Microsoft or Activision. So between now and October, if either one of them, for whatever reason, decides to walk away, the breakup fee is now much higher. So if it's before
What does
August,
that mean? What is a breakup fee? What does that even mean?
The breakup fee is basically a fee that you would pay if you decide you don't want to merge now.
Oh,
to make the incentive higher.
Think of it like a pre-divorce penalty, except you're paying it before you even get married.
Interesting. It's a prenup.
Wow.
But it's like a penalty prenup.
Yeah,
A penalty prenup for getting a divorce.
So if the deal doesn't close by August 29th, then the fee is $3.5 billion, depending on who does the breakup. After that, if it's not settled by September 15th, it jumps to $4.5 billion.
Dang.
So if one of them wants to walk away, it's going to cost a pretty penny.
Wow.
Oh my God. This is all, remember back in the day when it wasn't about money?
That's never been the case.
At
It's
some
always
point,
been about money.
That's why there's no Batman
There's been
consoles.
consoles. Yeah, because nobody would buy them.
I'm talking about like back in the day, like you know, like board game, like backgammon. Nobody knows about backgammon.
Yeah, but this is not that podcast, bro.
That's true. That's true. That's
You got
true.
the wrong podcast. We'll tune us next time on our backgammon podcast.
On our backgammon podcast, this whole welcome Kupo sign is going to be a backgammon board coming at you very soon. But speaking of
So hold on. So are there any prospects for Sony to buy anybody else? Is there anything in the what is it called, the grapevine?
I mean, they're always
Is there anything in the future ahead for Sony to buy, like Take-Two or Rockstar, you know, those types, Capcom? Are they gonna try to fight this in any way at all? Because I know the only deal is Call of Duty right now that they're getting.
correct.
But there's nothing else, right?
So for Sony and
all you
Nintendo,
need.
the deal is only for Call of Duty. It includes
Yeah.
nothing else in the Activision library.
And Activision owns everything. Like 90% of the games come out with Activision Blizzard.
However, Microsoft did make a deal with several gaming, cloud gaming sites where they will release a large part of the library to them in order for you to play.
Huh.
So if you're on one of these cloud gaming systems, you will see Call of Duty and other Activision games come to that streaming platform soon.
Wow. Okay.
But as for Sony, they're always in the market to make a deal. It just comes down to who is available and at what price.
well, they're probably doing Call of Duty first because they know once they get that, it's like cutting the head off of the snake. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I feel like they're just gonna exclusivize everything else except Call of Duty because they actually make money, right, out of Call of Duty from
Yeah.
Sony players too.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna cut that off, but I feel like all the other games will probably cut off because Sony makes a lot of their own first party games.
True.
Like the Sony Studios is like epic. It's got so many things going on.
Just like
So
Spider-Man.
many, yeah. Spider-Man is always going to be exclusive to Sony. You God of War, the Uncharted series, if they continue with another one, Last of Us. They have so many amazing franchises. They have Horizon. Man, it's endless.
No,
And they keep making new stuff.
They
So.
also acquired a lot of studios as well.
They did, yeah,
They
there was
acquired Bungie. They have a great deal with
There was a
Square
lot of back and forth
Enix.
happening. Hey, you guys bought that? I'm gonna buy this. You guys bought that? I'm gonna buy this. But then Sony just put down the hammer. I mean, Microsoft put down the hammer, and they're like, "We're getting the big boy, Activision Blizzard." So, all right, that was good. Thank you,
A
Rizzy.
good first
Yeah.
step for Microsoft in their console studio wars. We'll see where this continues to go.
Awesome.
Well, that'll be the next edition of the Windows Update. But so here's the next thing that we should talk about. Even though I'm not a big fan of it, I'm okay with it, but I know you've been playing it a lot.
Yeah. I've been playing Final Fantasy 16. I'm a huge fan of the Final Fantasy series. Final Fantasy 16 is absolutely amazing and fun to play, and it's super easy to pick up if you are not new. If you are new to Final Fantasy, this is actually a really good starting point for you to just get into the series.
Are you a big fan?
I am a gigantic fan since 7.
Since 7.
I don't know anything about before that.
Before that.
Since 7, I've heard 6 is one of the best ones.
Your fantasy started at 7.
And my fantasy started at 7. I want to go back and play them. Play them one day. I think there's like a remaster of 1 through 6 that came out on the PlayStation 4 recently.
Wow.
The Final Fantasy Pixel something collection. I forgot what it's called. Pixel HD collection or something. So it's all 1 to 6. It's all of those guys.
Oh, why
And
did
then-
they? Oh, okay.
yeah.
It makes sense why they include 7.
Because but 7 was when they turned into like a different. It was on the PlayStation, right? So,
oh, okay. Where was it before?
Huh?
Where was it before?
I think Nintendo. I think was all of the other ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Nintendo Japan had it at the time, and all the numbers are mixed up. Like 1 here was 2 there, and back and forth. It's like weird. There's like the sequence numbers are all.
I should ask
messed
you
up.
a question, and I think down the road this will make sense. But why is it called Final Fantasy?
I don't know that. I thought I knew why that was, but I don't know anymore. What I thought it was this was their last. Squaresoft was the company who makes Final Fantasy games, and I thought this was the last budget big game that they could make with whatever they had. It's like we've made all these games and they've been flopping. Let's call this next one our Final Fantasy, and let's just throw all our money at it. And then they released it, and it was a huge hit. And they went to 2 and 3 and 4, and then it just became a gigantic epic series from there. But apparently, I was wrong. That's what a lot of people thought, and I was part of that. But apparently, there's a whole nother thing. They really didn't have any of that. This was just made up stories, and that just kind of grew into a big thing. I think the I don't know the official story, but it was just kind of like we just want to name it something, but we don't know what to name it. And they just went Final Fantasy for just there isn't a good reason for
Where did you hear your story? Like your version of it?
Just throughout my school days, my high school days, my middle school days, there was just gossip through our video game nerdy, people talking to each other during the lunch table.
Oh, in the cafeteria.
In the cafeteria on the lunch table. There's like, did you hear about this? Oh my God, wow, blah, blah. Little kids just back then where the internet was not really the internet. It was just kind of like, okay.
Oh, okay. It was just table talk. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Exactly. Now we have accurate news everywhere coming out all the time. It's infinite. So, yeah.
So even though I think the crazy part is that it's actually like sustained so many years of existence. So that means they keep adding new mechanics, or has it gotten better? It's like, is 16
it keeps building
so
on,
good?
16 is amazing, but it's always different. The mechanic is always different in each Final Fantasy. The battle system is always different. The story obviously is always different. The maps are different. Just everything. The characters are different. Some of them. There's one through line where you'll see you'll see chocobos. You'll see a Cid in every Final Fantasy game. Just kind of like keeping, like you'll see like little tonberries and stuff. Just keeping it where it's like, this is Final Fantasy. Remember that. Even though this is completely different from the last one you played, it's still Final Fantasy. So this 16 is like Game of Thrones meets God of War meets friggin' what do you call it? Like just Devil May Cry. It's just a whole bunch of amazing games just squished into this one epic adventure. It's a lot of fun, and it's really easy to get into. The last ones I've played, like last couple ones, they're really like hard to get into. You have to have so much little nuances. You have to do armors, and you have to do what is it called? You have to set up armors, and you have to set up materials and equipment, and buy this and forge that, and do so many little things. This is kind of like let's just go ahead and play. Let's just fight, play, keep going, keep the story going, keep the side quest going, and there isn't really nothing that'll make you slow down and think about. Let me equip this. Let me do this. It's like it's fun. Run it for another hour, for 2 hours, and then just stop and then come back to it really easily.
Well, here's a question I have for you. So Final Fantasy VII Remake came out, and it added a whole bunch of mechanics to it, which set a new standard for Final Fantasy gaming. Is Final Fantasy 16 kind of like lack of better words, like a copycat using that template? Or does it add something new?
They borrow from their older games, and then they add it to the new ones, and then they change it up. So it's always, the core of it is always the same. But it'll be like completely different.
Okay.
I'd say it's more an evolution of the game.
It's an evolution, but then you get to the next one, it's like, it's a completely different system. So the evolution we had in the last one, now it's a whole different system we have to learn. So they're always thinking about, hey, what's the best balance, right? For doing this.
Are you waiting for a Final Fantasy console to be released?
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
I would boycott against that
too. The covers. I'll be happy with the covers. Yeah.
The plates.
yeah. Maybe Batman on one side and Final Fantasy on the other side.
Or at least Batman somewhere, just one ear just sticking out, and then the Buster Sword on the other one.
Yeah, there you go. My God, I want a tattoo of a Buster Sword on my arm.
Really?
I think I'm gonna get that eventually. Yeah.
Well, good thing you're married already.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a big old Buster Sword right here, on my arm, and then I'm gonna probably put my wife's name, my daughter's name, and my dog's.
All on the sword?
All on next to the sword, and then I'm gonna have 2 different materials, which is like magic orbs. I'm gonna have a purple one. I'm gonna have a green one. What that stands for is the purple one means all, and then the green one is protect. It's a magical spell that says protect all, and then the name's next to it.
Oh, that's cool.
That's pretty nice. Would you mind putting the No Logic Gaming podcast on that sword?
Absolutely not yet.
To protect it at least.
This is episode 1. I don't have the energy. I don't think I have the capacity yet to put that on there. Maybe if we get like 10,000 subscribers at some point, I'll put a tattoo on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
10,000 subscribers.
All right.
That's all you need
Tell
for me
your
to put a
friends.
tattoo for No Logic Gamers.
There you go. That's pretty cool. But
Yeah.
it's actually a good point. Like, what would be a good if you were to get a gaming tattoo?
Yeah.
What would it be?
I just told you mine.
Yeah, it's you would get a Buster Sword.
I've always liked Kratos from God of War.
Mm.
That has always been one of my favorite titles to be out there. I would love to get Kratos.
That's pretty cool.
Do you want like his face, or do you want his like the logo of the game, or do you want like the name of the game?
I think I would kind of want Kratos himself, like an outline of him, but especially with his weapons.
Okay.
Because his weapons always impress me the most. But I think I'd want him in like Sparta mode.
You should get the tattoos he has on his face.
Yeah.
I won't be able to go home after that.
The wife's not gonna like that one.
Although I could be permanently featured in cosplay at least, so at least that'll
there
be
you
something.
go. Permanent cosplay.
That's true. That's
Rizzy,
true.
what about? I mean, Blue. What about you?
I would
Batman.
the symbol across my chest. No, I would probably like something Metal Gear Solid related.
Okay.
Help me out here. What something about Metal Gear
So
Solid?
that was one of my ideas. So I thought about this. I'm like, do I want The Last of Us something related? Do I want Metal Gear something related? Do I want Final Fantasy something related? Then I thought about it, and I'm like, my favorite game is still 7, Final Fantasy 7.
Mm-hmm.
So forget those two, and then that's what I thought of. Metal Gear, I would say the Foxhound logo.
The Foxhound logo is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was
You
thinking,
can even get like a little.
what about the Kodak numbers?
You can get the Kodak number.
Oh, I should do the secret one where the Metal Gear Solid 1, it's like to contact
Meryl?
the secret one that's behind the CD case.
Yeah.
If I ever I always forget, I still don't know it to this day. And if I'm playing Metal Gear Solid, I could just be like, oh yeah, just
there it is. Yeah.
is it a tramp stamp?
the game's gonna tell you, hey, isn't it behind the CD case? Like, no, it's behind blue.
It's behind blue. Yeah, it's a tramp stamp. I'm gonna lift up my shirt and see where it'll be.
That's actually a creative one. You would have to, like, people would ask you, what does that mean? You would have to just explain it to them. And those are the best tattoos, right?
That's
Where,
true.
like, somebody asks you, like, hey, what is that? What does it mean? That's so cool.
They'll probably
But you
like.
just have numbers, so I don't know how cool that is.
I guess, yeah, and it's like it'll be one of those things where it looks cool, but as I'm explaining it, it becomes less cool.
I feel like you should get something where it's who was your favorite villain, like Psycho Mantis, or like, was it Sniper Wolf or Fat Man from Metal Gear Solid 2? Which one? Or maybe the end or something.
Yeah,
from
the
three?
end. Oh yeah, the creepy one. He's like, yes,
Sweet release.
I can die in peace.
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, and then the bird dies.
Oh, I get the parrot.
Parrot.
Yeah,
You get the parrot.
yeah. But no, it's not a regular parrot.
Yeah.
It's a parrot from Metal Gear Solid 3.
Sure, but how would you tell the difference? Why do you
That's
have a
true.
parrot, man?
Yeah,
it's not a normal parrot. It's a Metal Gear Solid parrot.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Like, I don't understand any of this.
It won't stand against the
It's
test
like,
of time.
okay, fine. You're just gonna give up. Be like, yeah, that's a parrot.
Yeah, it's a
Whatever. I have
parrot.
a tattoo of a parrot.
And then I'll be embarrassed by it the entire time. Okay.
And then you'll have to have it lasered off.
But you didn't tell me what your favorite. Who your favorite villain is?
There's just so many, but I think at the end of it, it has to be Ocelot.
Fat Man. Oh, Ocelot.
Fat Man. It's just so deep. Fat Man, or y'all think Vamp was pretty cool? Y'all like Vamp?
Vamp was cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. He's kind of cringe in Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah, he is.
And finally, you are the one to kill me.
Oh my God! Stop acting, please. Don't do this. Don't do that again.
And then Raiden's. But then Raiden had to like slice him up. Raiden's sword. I'll get Raiden's sword, not the Buster sword. My forearms are kind of skinny.
Raiden's sword.
Yeah.
Whatever.
To each their own?
To each their own.
I guess so. So I guess Ocelot is your favorite villain.
I guess Ocelot, the revolver.
So you're gonna have to get the Ocelot
I'll
tattoo.
get the 2 revolvers, and I'll have that as a tramp
That's
stamp.
cool.
That would be the tramp
That would
stamp.
look
The
good.
revolvers. I'm like, hey, you're a Red Dead Redemption fan.
I mean, like, dang it! No one's ever getting my references. This is so basic. A parrot of like revolvers.
Yeah.
Oh man. You know, I want to show y'all something.
What do you got?
Are y'all Mario fans?
You gonna keep your clothes on?
No.
I mean, you want to show me something? I'm scared.
I have a tattoo.
Oh God, where is it?
We're not going to make it to 10,000 subscribers.
It's just a plumbing wrench. It's a very basic one. No one ever knows it's Mario. But anyways, I want to show y'all something.
Okay.
Right.
So, have you all ever heard about the legend of Chain Chomp Raiden?
I've never heard. I don't even know the words you're just saying right now.
Okay, so you heard of Chain Chomp?
Chain Chomp is from Super Mario.
Yeah.
And he's the guy who's it's like a ball with a face on it, and he's chained.
With a little chain, yeah.
Yeah, and he just kind of like
Chain Chomp.
He just
Chain
tries
Chomp.
to grab you.
You
and
know about Chain Chomp. Now, so Brayden.
So what does it have to do with legend?
The legend of Chain Chomp. I'll explain why this is a legend.
And what was the last word you said?
So, Brayden. His name is Brayden.
Not Raiden. Just
Not
making
Raiden. If it was Raiden, that would be tattooed already. Brayden. But the legend of Chain Chomp Brayden has to do with Mario Level Maker. I don't know way too much about it, but there is an individual who goes by the name of Chain Chomp Brayden, and he made the hardest Mario level in the entire world.
Wow.
Which took him 7 years
to make one level?
To beat.
Oh, wait, his own level?
His own level.
He made a level to beat his own level and it took him 7 years to beat.
But it's a difference because when you're playing Mario Level Maker, you can make it, right? But to play it and beat it is another thing. So there's this thing called, like, I think it's buffing, where you have to keep buffing means to keep editing to make it harder and harder and harder and harder.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the legend started with him making the hardest level ever, and he kept on buffing it to become insane, like level infinity hard. Right?
Wow. And he did that on purpose.
Right? Okay. So, but literally everybody did not believe him in saying, like, you're not going to be able to beat this level. You're never going to be able to do it. Right? And it took him 7 years of trying. He was streaming it constantly.
Wow.
Right? People would join in. Yeah. And then
has anybody else beaten his level?
Well, I don't know that far ahead. And in fact, I don't think it's even available to play.
Oh, okay.
But it would be nice
like in a private server.
I think so. Okay. Yeah, right. I don't know if it's made it public yet or any of that. I don't know that. I'll do some research. I'll know by episode 2 for sure.
Okay.
But this took 7 years to beat, and he beat it one day on a live stream. And when I tell you, the chat went crazy, and then it went viral while live streaming.
Yeah.
All of the big live streamers.
Oh, everybody turned it on.
Everyone went to it to celebrate Chain Chomp Brayden.
Wow.
And I'm gonna show you guys just how hard this level is.
All right. I'm excited.
Just check it out. Right, so if y'all think y'all had it hard playing like a Mario 64 on the Nintendo, this is nothing. Check this out.
Trials of Death.
Trials of Death.
That's what it's called?
Yes. I mean, I think so.
Look at them fire sticks.
Whoa.
Jesus.
So
what is happening?
Exactly.
My eyes are trying to focus where Mario is.
I can't even keep up with where he's trying to go.
Huh?
Okay, Yoshi's in the game.
Oh my god, well, Yoshi's dead.
You have to sacrifice Yoshi. Everything is done by design.
Oh no. Oh, the power button. Oh my god. What? Oh, there was a fire thing there.
Yeah, and you have to keep spinning just to get to the next level. Use the mushrooms, the shells.
What is he doing now? Oh, what?
To change the direction.
This is incredible.
And that was just phase 1.
I thought I was a pretty good Mario player, but now this is putting me to shame. I've never want to play Mario on a live stream ever again.
Chain Chomp Brayden is no joke.
Oh my goodness.
I'm pretty sure I would die just by hitting start in this game.
I'm sure you would, because I'm sure there's like a timing thing. This is insane. Why would anybody do this?
So
what's wrong with him?
So but look up top, right? Uh-huh. So look at the attempts.
Where's the attempts?
2,000.
Oh, I see it.
843 attempts.
Oh my gosh.
Right? And he did 1,526. Oh my god.
It's okay. Skip it.
And bam. And 1,526 practices.
Oh my goodness.
The final 4 phases 155 and I don't know what end means, but man.
Wow.
This is all like he made all this by design.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I guess he would know what happens next, but still to even time it.
Yeah.
Right? And for 7 years.
That's crazy. Wait,
imagine doing
Yoshi's
something.
Back.
Yeah, Yoshi's back.
Rizzy, he's dead.
No, he's dead.
Look.
What happened?
You don't even know what's going on anymore.
Is he wearing the thing on his head?
In the world?
I would be like, if somebody had to do commentary on this, they would lose their mind.
Good luck to you.
Yeah, like
But
how
that
would
would
you?
also go viral if you're getting commentary. on
Okay,
this thing.
let's try it. 3, 2, 1, start commentating like a boxing
He's
match.
got the P and now he's I don't even know any of this. I don't even know the terms.
Mario looks
He's
like
on a
Mario struck
bouncing
himself. He's
thingy.
upping himself. He's going slow. He's going down, and he's in between two corridors.
He's trying not to-
and-
okay.
Okay, I don't even know how to commentate this.
What is happening?
He went
He's
through a
always
portal.
one away from dying. But the
Yeah.
fact that literally one wrong turn, you can go all the way back. But
He
the
got
fact
past
that
the
like
buzzsaw. Now he has to get past another one. Got the bouncy ball in his hand.
Yep.
He's got Yoshi back.
Yoshi's back, and you.
And now he left Yoshi behind.
And back.
back on Yoshi.
Yoshi swallowed the trampoline.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, now we lost him again. Oh, now he's
They're
back.
back.
Yep.
Reunited, and it
Feels
feels
so good.
Okay, bye. You die now.
He sacrificed him.
once again.
He's got the POW with him
the pal.
and the trampoline.
Yeah, he's on the treadmill.
Literally down to the second.
Wow, this is crazy.
It is insane.
How long is this?
It's altogether it's 10 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a 10-minute level, but imagine if you didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah, I mean nobody would be able to beat this.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe,
if you haven't made the level, you really can't really beat it. You
listen,
know what
if this is public, that would be an in-game challenge for us to play.
I mean? We would never get past 2 seconds.
I think we can.
Okay, we wouldn't get past 1 second.
Okay,
I wouldn't
yeah,
get
there
past
you
1
go.
second.
There you go.
I could set the Guinness World Record for rage and quit by playing this game. Because it would be immediately.
This would be a perfect segment for Rage and Quit. Because I would Rage and Quit in like 2 tries.
As soon as you start, I don't know where to go.
I don't know where to go. Or what to do or how to do this at all. Wow, this is insane. What in the... What? How did the stick just fall off?
Whoa.
See, what? He made the thing bounce on the
Yeah.
trampoline.
So, and back it goes.
Oh my gosh, what is he trying to do?
Yeah, I don't even understand.
At this point, I don't even know
What the way
how any of this works. It's just fascinating to see how Mario went from like a very only 2D jump over this chimney, jump over this thing, and then yeah, you're good. To this. What is this?
I mean, this is Super Mario World, which is one of my favorite near and dear games.
So you can make your own level as well. Would you guys make a level this hard?
I don't think I have the brain capacity to make a level like this, or even close to this.
That's true,
I'm
but-
pretty sure I would rage and quit in the middle of making it.
making the
I
level.
wouldn't get to the end.
But the fact that this took
7 years.
7 years. This is a man of concentration and consistency.
Yeah. I mean, it's so many things can happen in 7 years.
So many things.
Yeah, a whole new console can come out.
I'm telling you.
Console cycles, yeah.
But you guys pretty much get the gist, right?
Oh my god,
Yeah.
this is insane.
This is somebody who was highly dedicated not only to building the level, but then going on to beat it.
To Mario itself.
Yeah.
Like he is Mario.
A big Mario fan,
That's
for
yes.
sure.
So actually there's like a whole bunch of like so this is like an entire video that he made about like what it took to make it,
Right.
but then also the reactions afterwards of everybody, right?
Yeah.
So everyone's just going crazy, but it's a whole bunch of like Mario streamers as well. Like they were playing this, and then like word got through that Chain Chomp Brandon's about to beat it, and every time he's about to beat it, they all tune in.
Wow.
And this
Wow.
time he was able to successfully go through.
So he's only beaten it once.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's
So,
still an accomplishment
why would
because
I just?
I'm pretty sure no one else would even get that close.
That's true. And okay, so look at the
The chat's going
yeah,
off.
look at the
Oh
chat.
my goodness.
That's going off right now. So everyone's tuning in because they know this is where the mistakes can happen because it just gets harder from there.
Oh. Well, at least this is a break.
Yeah,
You
this
get-
is a break,
Get a little breather.
a small break.
A few
Yeah.
seconds.
Oh, unless this is the end. Is this the end?
Almost, pretty much.
Okay. Wow.
Well, there's one last thing.
Okay, that
An
thing.
ad?
That thing. That's the final boss.
There's a cameraman in my face.
Yes.
That boss is very hard to beat.
Yep.
He's always shooting.
Okay,
you.
so now he's running between two fireballs.
So as you can see, it's getting like.
Oh no, the treadmill and the fireball.
Yeah, that's a treadmill on top
my
of that as well.
goodness.
That's crazy.
He has to time it perfectly.
What is that? Oh.
Interestingly, I haven't seen any mushrooms or the star make an appearance yet.
Not necessary. He's always startup. Look at him.
Look at that. Does he need a mushroom?
No, star mode is its own mode.
Star mode. But look at that.
Oh my goodness, so many ghosts.
How do you know what to do there?
How did he get over there?
I would have lost him by now.
So this is saying this is this is where he would always die.
All the
Right?
places he
Yeah,
dies.
see, now it's like reminiscing about all the things. He even got this close at one point.
Wow. How did he get over there?
I have no idea. I would not have found my way out of that.
This is crazy. Oh, look. People are going off on the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
There we go.
Oh, he beat it. Wow.
He beat it.
Dude.
Jeez. Oh my God, look at that.
Oh, there was no flag at the end of the level.
Everyone.
You have to hit the flagpole.
Like a little, like, one last hurrah. But
That's in Mario 1, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, everyone was going crazy, and then after that, like
Celebration.
celebrations, and then everyone's reactions, how they all like are going crazy.
That's crazy.
They all tuned in.
That's so
not gonna
cool.
happen. Remember this comment? This was 6 years ago. Remember this comment, and he brought it back 6
He brought it
years
back
later.
in your face. What's his name?
Yes.
Unknown. In your face, unknown.
In your face, unknown. And the 7 people that liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eat my dust.
Eat Chain Chomp Braden's dust. It was insane.
Fantastic.
But yeah, that's that was quite the
That was a historic moment in streaming, I guess, huh?
No, that was a very historic moment, not just in streaming. I think this because this is on Twitch.
Yeah.
And when this happened, Moist Critical on Twitch, but Penguin Z0 on YouTube made an announcement. It went to trending. Like this
broke Twitch.
This broke pretty much, right? It was a huge staple because they know he's been doing this for years, right? And he has his streams and occasional ones. It's just, casual ones. But then out of nowhere, random stream.
He just beats it.
Boom. Beats it. I'm sure it wasn't his first attempt that day, but man, I'm sure that when he beat it, his reaction must have been priceless. He's a faceless YouTuber.
Oh, he's faceless. Oh, man. It would have been nice to see that, though.
I know. But I'm sure he was looking at the chat, like, relaxing,
Yeah.
Finally done.
Wow.
But
I wish he had a reaction, though. That would have been nice.
Yes.
At the moment he beat it.
Exactly.
He doesn't have to show himself all the way, but just until like, oh, hey.
Pixelated?
Yeah. Like, I want to see, how he feels after 7 years.
That's true. I mean, he did make this
crazy.
42-minute documentary as the 7-year journey to the hardest Mario level.
Right. Very cool.
Trials of Death.
That's crazy.
Definitely.
Well, thank you for
trial.
that.
Yeah.
That was awesome, Blue.
I thought I would give y'all a little history lesson.
I did not know about this at all. So this is really
And
nice.
here I thought the third level of the original Super Mario was hard.
The Trials of Death.
Forget it now. Like Child's Play.
This is like God mode.
I'm telling you.
Even Miyamoto would be like, I don't know how to do this.
Even Nintendo would give up trying to make this level.
Yeah.
Here, guys, go and test this. How?
Yeah.
It's like
Q&A is gonna be a bitch.
Oh man, but he did it. So congratulations, Chain Chomp Braden. And even though it's been about a year, congratulations. Congratulations once again.
It still holds up very well.
Yes, absolutely. But speaking of things that holds up very well, I don't know. That's not a good segue.
It's great. What are you talking about?
It's timeless is what it is.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that hold up very well,
Yeah.
You better not be talking about me.
Rizzy has something to share with us.
Oh, yeah. So one of our favorite segments that on here on this podcast is going to be Near and Dear, games that we grew up with or have known for a very long time that you could really play anytime, and it just pulls back memories of a better time.
Of blood.
Of blood.
Of bone-crushing.
Bone-crushing blood.
Fatalities.
Yes.
You talking about?
Get over here!
Mortal Kombat 2.
Two, not one.
No,
Two.
no. was definitely
Very
the better
cool.
game.
Nice.
Now,
2 was the best game?
I think 2 was the better one compared to 1. 2 had a lot of great parts about it as compared to 1. So they had more players. You know, you could be more characters. Kombat 1 only had 7. 2 had 12 players. In the Super Nintendo version of 1, there was no blood.
Oh,
You
really?
actually had to enter a cheat code in order to get the blood to show.
Oh, my
What?
goodness.
And it sold so bad that for number 2, they brought the blood back for the Super Nintendo edition.
Or they bought the
Jeez.
blood. Wow.
Yeah, that's a fact that a lot of people don't know. Mortal Kombat 1, when it was released for Super Nintendo, had the blood removed.
Did you know that? I mean,
I did not know any.
you
I,
played
I,
those,
I thought the whole thing with Mortal Kombat was like, oh, it's gory, it's bloody, it's like
It was still
this
gory,
is so real,
but,
huh?
Well, because it was still considered children's games for Nintendo.
Yeah.
So they were kind of uneasy about that much blood.
Okay.
So they said, go ahead and censor it. And so obviously Midway Games, you know,
Yeah.
when it was ported to Super Nintendo, that's what they did. And there was no
Wow.
blood and nobody liked it.
Oh yeah, I mean that makes sense because the whole point of this game was like, oh my goodness, look at the blood,
Yeah.
pools and pools of blood, and how do you have no blood and you have fatalities? Was there fatalities in the Nintendo version?
It was more fatalities in number 2 compared
Okay.
to number 1.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, really, when you think about like those classic shots of it,
Yeah.
most of them came from number 2.
Ah.
You know, you had probably more of the better characters,
Yeah.
the playable characters.
Mhm.
My favorite was always Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero.
That was my
That's a lot of
guy.
people's favorite.
I constantly died because of Raiden, that asshole.
Yeah.
I could not beat him very well.
I remember him with the stupid lightning. Yeah, that's all you did. He just
that
like
lightning-
zoom into you like Superman.
That lightning would kick my ass every single time.
Yeah, seriously. Mine was Scorpion. Get over here.
Get over
That was my
here.
jam.
Also a great character
Yeah,
to play.
you always do the little get over here, and then you do the little uppercut.
What's with
Make 'em fly.
who's the one with like all the arms? I don't know.
Gordo
Gordo.
Gordo.
had the whole bunch of arms. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
This is actually really good timing, Rizzy, because Mortal Kombat 1 is coming out.
The remake.
The remake is coming out. It has story. It's got a different universe. All the characters are now different. What they used to be in the older versions.
The originals?
In the older universe, yeah.
Are they gonna have blood this time?
I mean, if they don't, I'll have to wait for the 2 remake.
This game is made for blood. It's made off of blood.
It's made off of blood, probably. Yeah.
Fascinatingly, though, when 2 came out in Japan for Super Nintendo, it was still partially censored. The blood was all green.
What?
Yeah, I know. That's very odd.
Green
right?
blood.
Why was it green blood? But that's what it was. Essentially, they were made of slime.
I think the two big competitions was Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat.
Street
It's like,
Fighter was a good game as well.
Yeah, which one do you prefer? And there were always arcades you can go to, and you see a crowd of people just all over the Street Fighter arcade game, and then you see a whole crowd of people in the Mortal Kombat arcade game, and then the winner stays. You put your coin down, and then whoever wins stays, and it'd be like, oh, I beat you. Next, you got the next guy in. You put the coin in, and you start beating. If you start playing him. It was so much fun back
It was just
then.
the joystick and 2 buttons, right?
It was just joystick. It was more than 2 buttons. It was like 4 buttons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was about 3 or 4.
Yeah, and then in the joystick, and oh man, that was a time on its own. That's like a thing in history that's like never gonna come back because you won't have these type of things, these type of experiences with people unknown to you.
Wow.
Yeah,
Right?
that's not something you do in an arcade these
Not
days.
anymore,
If
no.
you can find an arcade.
No, now you'll find Angry Birds.
Yeah, that's not an arcade game. But by far, I owned a Sega Genesis. That's the version of the game I had.
Yeah.
It was probably the closest to the arcade game.
Yeah.
One thing that I really enjoyed about it that I found out from my cousin later on is you could go into test mode. Test mode was essentially the cheat menu.
Really?
In Mortal
I've
Kombat 2.
I've never heard of test mode before.
So there was a test mode. Basically, you would go to the options menu.
Yeah.
You would put in a series of commands through your controller, like left, right, A, B,
Yeah.
and you would get this menu called test mode. And you had a bunch of different options that you could do in the game. So you could say no damage to player 1,
Wow.
meaning you could get hit as many times as, the computer could hit you, but you'd never die.
Wow.
Interesting.
You could also do one-hit kills, meaning you hit your opponent
one
one
hit kill.
time and they're dead.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
if you play the game for a long time,
it's like God mode.
Pretty much it is. It is like God mode. But if you play the game for a long time, you have all these characters. They all have a story at the end of the game.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And
was the campaign better than Tekken? Like the story mode?
In terms of old style, maybe. But each one had their own story.
Oh, okay.
And the hard challenge was you had to beat, obviously, every other player.
Yes.
And the boss.
Yep.
And only then would you get to read, what the finality was of these characters. Well, that takes a really long time, especially when there's no game saves, right?
Seriously.
Wow.
So if you lose your progress, whatever, you start all over.
You start over. Yeah.
Man.
You had to finish through, or it's you just do it again, or you leave your console on. That's what I did. I left my console on all night. And wake up in the morning, get back on the controller.
So that
was my save.
That only works unless someone turns it off, or you lose power.
Yeah, or if mom and dad want to watch TV, you better switch that off. I'm like, okay.
The worst though is if the game would freeze.
Oh my god!
Like if you leave it paused for too long, you come back. Sometimes it would want to come back.
Yeah, the console overheats so
that
easily.
That would be it. Especially if you left it on the carpet. That was always a bad idea.
Mine was always on the carpet.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why it would freeze.
Yeah.
But they had, no damage, one-hit kills, free play meant, you would play the game the way it was, but you would have unlimited chances.
Yeah.
That was always a lot of fun. Background, where the level would take place, you could choose that.
And I know that used to change the background. If you hit your opponent in certain places, it would completely change the whole arena. You'd be either, falling through the screen into a different area, or like you just be in a different spot. It was so cool.
Yeah, and depending on the finish, you might get a different fatality as well, depending on where it took place. Especially with Raiden in the dungeon.
Yeah,
there was a special move, and he would actually do a different fatality.
Yeah,
if you had that mode enabled in the menu.
Wow.
There was also Soak Test, which I guess was just demo mode. It would essentially just play computer versus computer until you hit start. I guess it was like screensaver mode almost.
Yeah,
it would just, go on about its business until you were ready to play.
Pretty cool.
And then of course, they had the fatalities, friendship.
Yes. Babyality, bestiality.
Yeah.
No joke, they had those. Yeah. Was it bestiality? Am I saying that right? Was it a bestiality?
I think it was babyality.
Do you know what that means?
There was babyality, because then you turn the others into like different types of babies, and they would cry. But there was also a beast one where they would turn into beasts and bite them and shit.
I believe that was in there, and then there was the one with Raiden, which
sounds so bad.
The way you really excited about it, you're like, bestiality was in there.
No animals were harmed in the making of this video.
Or that one.
But there was one mode as well. It was called Ooh Nasty.
What is that?
So basically, in the menu you could enable Fergality.
I remember that one too.
If you played the Armory as Raiden, as your final move, if you hit back block, instead of a normal fatality, it would turn your opponent into the character of Fergus McGovern, which is the CEO of Probe Entertainment, the guys who ported the game to Sega. It was a special one-time Easter egg. It was only able to be done with Raiden at that stage. I believe it was background number 6. So if you happen to have the game and you want to play it on Genesis, go check out Frugality mode.
Wow.
But, it's constantly been rated as one of the best games of all time.
Is the community still thriving?
I don't know if it thrives now. I mean, the last time it was released was on PlayStation 3 as part of a special collection.
Well, you know how they have the Street Fighter tournaments, and that the Street Fighter is it's still rocking. Is there tournaments and things like that for Mortal Kombat?
I haven't heard of any. I can't say that it's impossible that it wouldn't be, especially if Street Fighter still has tournaments. I'm sure Mortal Kombat does as well.
For sure.
But it's just one of those timeless classics. It's a game that no matter when you play it, it's always going to hold up. As a 2D action Street Fighter.
It's true.
It's, there's always good memories associated with it. And it's an easy game to play. And obviously with the cheat menu, you really can't go wrong.
That's true.
Very cool.
I like that a lot. It's one of those, you're right, it's one of those timeless classics that are always going to be near and dear to Rizzy's heart.
Yep. And obviously if you ever hear Mortal Kombat 2 and you've played it, you always know who your favorite character is.
Yep.
Bestiality. I think I got that wrong. Probably, I'm sure I did, but it was something to do with that. I remember. But oh well.
Oh well.
I digress.
I digress. Let's digress from that one. So, all right. Now, final segment.
Final segment, I guess so.
Final segment. Welcome.
Is this always going to be the segment that's the final segment?
The final segment every single time.
All right.
Welcome to the Conspiracy Corner.
Okay.
So,
I mean,
I feel like there's no that should have been
you hit a button, and I think there was supposed to be sound, and it took a while for the sound to come in.
That's true.
And just kind of, it was kind of dead.
It's our first episode. It's the first one. I didn't think this through. We're working out the kinks here.
Batman, always late.
It should be.
He's an old man. You know what are you gonna do?
It's starting now. There it goes. Okay, so today's Conspiracy Corner led me down a rabbit hole. All right, and have y'all heard about this?
I mean, what is it? You already mentioned a
rabbit hole.
I haven't heard about this.
Have I heard of a rabbit hole? Yeah.
This Conspiracy Corner. This Conspiracy Corner has to do with, did Silent Hill PT?
Oh, I gave you a disturbing fact earlier this episode.
That's right, you did, and it has relates us with the Conspiracy Corner. Did Silent Hill PT save the Resident Evil franchise?
No.
No?
No.
Great segment. Thank you so much.
We'll see you next time.
I'll see you next time on the next No Logic Game podcast.
What makes you say that? What does Silent Hill PT have to do with? Angie is going.
We need an Angie camera now.
Angie, calm down, baby.
Angie, that's it. That's it, girl. That's it, girl. That's it.
So what makes you say that Silent Hill's PT saved Resident Evil?
So definitely. So there's actually a lot of theories that kind of back it up. Now, of course, none of this is true and confirmed, right? So, I'm sorry, none of it's confirmed, right? But it's a lot of speculation because the timings of it just line up so perfectly that one can only think, maybe it has something to do with it. So, let me go ahead and start by explaining to our audience at home what Silent Hill PT even was. Because let's just face it, right?
I feel like if you're a pretty good, gamer, if you know things,
you should be familiar.
You should be familiar with PT. It's very near and dear to people.
That's true. It is
one of the scariest games, according to people.
Yeah.
Opinions that it was the scariest game ever made.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's true. They say it's all in there. Incomplete. But if you're not familiar with it, we get it. It was released 9 years ago. Can you believe that? 9 years.
Man, I feel old.
Wow. Yeah. You should, right? It's 9 years, dude. Yeah. Lots happened, right? So it was released 9 years ago, and it only existed for 10 months before vanishing. Before
they pulled it, yeah.
Yeah, before they pulled it from the PlayStation Store.
I remember that.
And the most interesting part is this was just a demo. That's all it was.
Yeah.
So PT stands for playable teaser, right? So to give you the background of it, right? So it was a playable teaser by Konami, and the developers behind it were the one and only my favorite Hideo Kojima.
And then you had Norman Reedus at the end.
And that's true. It did. Yeah, he was in there. He never really spoke, but he was in there.
But apparently that was you, right? That was the main character.
That's who you're playing as.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's revealed at the end.
If you were able to even complete the game, that's who you find out.
That's who oh my god, that's the Walking Dead dude.
Walking Dead dude.
Excuse me. Spoiler alert.
Oh, my bad. Well, you can't play it anymore. It was pulled.
Actually,
it was pulled 10 months.
No, actually, you can play it.
Thanks.
There's some PlayStation 3s that are being sold.
Yeah, well, that you have to buy a special PlayStation.
That's true.
One that has the game already on it.
Exactly.
Some still exist, and I want to try that one day. But I mean, going on with this, it did have the wonderful Hideo Kojima, and I love him so much, right?
I agree.
Yeah, I love him.
He's a mastermind.
I just want to have his babies. I love him that much.
Okay, well, we need to switch seats.
You talked about bestiality over here. Meanwhile,
I thought that was a fatality, but I think I was wrong.
And she's getting closer.
We're thinking of a different game.
A different game altogether. But so it had Hideo Kojima in it, right? And on top of that, he had a little co-buddy behind it. So but before I go into the code buddy of it, so Hideo Kojima, for those who don't know, he was the creator of Metal Gear Solid, Death Stranding, and many more miracles, right? So alongside Hideo Kojima Productions, there was a notorious filmmaker that has won 3 Academy Awards, 3 BAFTA Awards, and an Emmy. The one and only Guillermo del Toro. All right, so he's known for his fairy tale horror themed ambiance, and these two joined forces and created one of the most well known and horrifying gameplay experiences in the industry, Silent Hill PT, which was released on the PlayStation Store August 12th of 2014. I was starting the 12th grade.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, when that came out.
2014. And what Resident Evil part was out at that point?
So at that point,
2014. What Resident Evil is that?
The greatest Resident Evil came out at like 2 years prior, Resident Evil 6.
So 2012.
Yes.
So you're saying that
Here we go.
So you're saying that the Resident Evil franchise was dead because of 6.
Or in trouble.
And then 2 years later, when PT came out, that's what saved Resident Evil. That's when 7 came out.
Let me explain.
Is that what we're getting
That's
at?
not what I'm getting at, but you're just putting the words in my mouth right now for me not to be able to react.
Well, if 6 was so great, why did PT have to save it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's because
Resident Evil. What's your favorite Resident Evil of all time?
That's because it's people. It's
Blue.
6. It's 6. I'll say it. Resident Evil 6 is the greatest Resident Evil ever. I'll back it up, but I am a professional.
He just lost all credit. Lost all of it.
Listen. Because people like these two who just just hate every single thing that Resident Evil does after 4.
Lost all credibility. I'm telling you.
Tune in next week when he tells us what's going to save the Batman franchise.
Okay, but let me explain, right? So Hideo Kojima and Del Toro, they joined forces to create Silent Hill PT, right?
Is this before or after Hideo was fired from Konami?
This is before. This
Okay.
is before, right? So honestly, Silent Hill PT is going to be mentioned a lot throughout many episodes because it has so many layers to it. It's like an iceberg. The deeper you go, the more layers it get. Like, for example, this is a demo that came out 9 years ago. I didn't even know that Lisa was like following us the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I had no idea about that.
Yeah, I forgot the name. It was Lisa. Yeah. I just kept calling the monster. Yeah.
Yeah, Lisa. Yeah, Lisa. So the reason why Silent Hill PT was just so amazing is because it had a first-person style, right, of a theme to the game, and you're not able to run or jump, right? So this puts you in an L-shaped corridor. I think that's the best way for me to describe it. And it goes in an infinite loop.
Yep.
And you literally have to use Big Brain to get out of this creepy hallway. And on top of it, you're stuck in there with a disturbing ghostly figure by the name of Lisa, who was murdered by her husband alongside with her baby. Right? The dark ambiance with no music and echoey steps, it keeps you on the edge of your seat this whole time. Right? So that's all I'm going to talk about when it comes to the gameplay, because this is not so much about the gameplay of things. But when this demo/teaser came out, it hit the gaming industry with a bang. Everyone.
This spawned a whole bunch of indie horror games.
My God.
Right? Like
my God.
There was like a revolution of just a crazy amount of horror games coming out to Steam, right?
Very true.
It really brought out the genre.
It brought out the genre. It was like, oh, here's the genre on the top of the list.
It set the standard.
It beat everything.
Definitely.
That everybody was trying to be the PT wannabe.
Exactly. So everyone was downloading the game.
That.
Everybody was downloading it and playing it. It was a very unique time because this is the one time a horror game attracted all types of gamers from other niches. Right? Yeah. From Let's Players, reactors, and let's not forget, right? During that time, 2014, it was the height of PewDiePie, Markiplier, and Jacksepticeye. Okay. They all played it, which added a whole bunch of more marketing to the game. And on top of that, The Walking Dead was also at its peak as well. Okay. Everybody was watching The Walking Dead. So when they found out that Norman Reedus was in there at the end of it, this hit everywhere. It was on articles, even like filmmaking, articles and websites were talking about it.
Right.
So it was huge. And on top of that, I mean, I think y'all know this, but the Fine Bros React, they also made a video about it as well.
I don't know who Fine Bros is.
The React channel?
I don't know what that is. The React channel? Like, there's so many React channels.
Oh, well, that was like, they basically...
That was like the best one?
That's arguable, but it's like the first one, almost.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It was like they made a whole channel based on React.
I'm not good with all these YouTube channel people.
Oh.
So you're going to have to educate me whenever you notice.
Well, yeah.
I know the big names that you just said, Jacksepticeye and, Markiplier and all those guys. Obviously, we know them all.
Yeah. For sure. But yeah, I mean, the Fine Brothers React was also one of them, right? So they react to a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, Silent Hill PT was one of them. And it was actually very entertaining, right? Because you have to use so many different things, like talking to the mic and all that kind of stuff, just to, like, get out of the game, basically.
Yeah.
So this was the most anticipated and highly talked about demo of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And 9 months later, they canned the entire project. And Hideo Kojima was fired from Konami.
Yes.
Right?
I remember that.
I won't get into the specifics of it, right? All I'm going to say is I hate Konami for that reason. But that's for many more episodes to come.
Yeah, I think it had something to do with Metal Gear Solid 5 and the incomplete version of that. But yeah, we'll get that in a different topic.
We'll talk about that for
somewhere
sure.
in the future.
That's a whole episode itself.
Teaser.
Right? But yeah, exactly. But in my opinion, it was the most upsetting news of 2015 in the gaming industry. I remember everyone was talking about it.
Okay.
Right? When it was announced that it was not only going to be canceled, but they're pulling it from the PlayStation Store.
Right.
That's insane. Right? So and they're pulling it from the PlayStation Store. You're not going to be able to re-download it.
Right.
So that means whoever has it in their PlayStation 3 has it forever.
Yeah, unless you delete it.
Don't delete it, but cherish it forever. You know what I'm saying? So the mark of PT really left an everlasting mark on the horror game niche by the countless subreddits and Facebook groups dedicated to PT itself, where they discuss what would happen in the game if it was released. It's even gone as far as fans are remaking the demo.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
But of course it's being scrapped by Konami.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So, but on top of that, there's also like their own fan-made indie horror games, such as The Bloody Room, which is on my channel. I played this game. It's very similar, but doesn't hold up to the hype, of course. But what PT did is that it set a standard for what really works in the horror gaming industry.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get into the specifics of Resident Evil 6. I like it. I'll defend it for the rest of my life, but I'm a professional. Let's talk about the whole masses of what's going on here. I know. I see your face. Right? But the conspiracy theory is, did Silent Hill PT save the Resident Evil franchise? And to understand that, it could be a conspiracy, but to understand it, let's go back to where it started. Resident Evil 4. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So Resident Evil 4,
absolutely amazing game, masterpiece.
Yeah,
just kind of renewed the whole Resident Evil franchise.
Absolutely.
Would you call it the best one?
I would call it the best one.
It's up there.
I would.
Yeah.
2 is still my favorite. Near and dear.
2. Near and dear.
But yeah, I would say 4 is like up there, like second best at least.
Definitely. And when it comes to PlayStation 2 classics, Resident Evil 4 will always be in the list somewhere. Right? Because Resident Evil 4, it brought in new game mechanics by taking Resident Evil out of the tank control stationary camera angle and going with a more behind-the-shoulder experience.
Yep.
And even bringing a combat sequence along with it while continuing the story onwards.
Yeah.
So it was pretty good in that sense. I liked it. Right? So not only did I like it, but everybody loved it as well. So with the positive feedback that Resident Evil 4 brought, Capcom decided to capitalize on the new mechanics, and they took it even further.
With 5,
which would ultimately be the reason as to why they ran out of business almost.
So
literally.
what went wrong? What went wrong with 5? So I know it was co-op, right?
Yes.
That was the first Resident Evil co-op game, I think.
Yes.
From the main series.
So this is all speculation.
Right.
The reason as to why a lot of people didn't like Resident Evil 5, it was still okay.
It was like a run and gun shooter type of game. It was the scare factor was gone. It was more of like hey, here's a puzzler. Hey, figure this out to keep moving forward.
You're right.
Sort of thing.
You're right. And that's why like it wasn't so favored because Resident Evil 4 bought new mechanics. That was what they built off of. So I'm guessing in Capcom's mind, in order to re-innovate, what's it called?
Yeah.
Innovate?
Yeah.
They had to bring more mechanics to the game. Okay, so if they like the combat sequence in 4, what if we had a co-op one because you had Ashley, but you couldn't do anything with Ashley. Right. But now we're giving you someone to play with on top of that.
Chris, right? Chris is in that?
Chris and Sheva.
Okay.
Right? And on top of that, we're going to bring even a cooler combat style to where both of you can tag team one zombie.
So eventually that game did not work out.
It did not work out in the long run. Right? So what ended up happening on top of that was...
So they're like, this game is so bad, let's copy paste this to number 6.
Exactly. Wait.
You heard it here first.
He said exactly.
That was not fair. I walked right into the trap here. But what ended up happening with this is that you're right in the sense that they did take it over to 6 and they completely decided to harp on it even more so.
Okay.
Right, about the gameplay mechanics and the tactics and all of that stuff. So nobody liked it. The reason why I like it is because it was brought new things to Resident Evil, but nonetheless, it still ended up tanking big time. On top of that, Resident Evil Retribution came out. On top of the movies, and it got like a 20-something% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ouch.
Yeah, and a 5.5 on IMDb. So.
I think I still enjoyed it though. I don't care about scores.
Yeah, so
it was fun to watch.
But with the masses, it did horrible,
of course.
Right? And on top of that, they added a double banger with it called Operation Raccoon City, which came out also in 2012, along with Resident Evil 6. So you have these three just completely tanking the Resident Evil franchise. They're like, oh, Resident Evil is not going back to its original roots.
Yeah, it was never as good as it was when it was at 4.
I'll admit that when it didn't feel so much like Resident Evil classically.
Yeah.
Right? And
4 was the best evolution of Resident Evil that they could have done.
That's true.
And then 5 and 6 went.
They
tanked it.
I mean, say 4 was their peak.
4 was their peak.
It tanked what Capcom could do for sure.
Yeah.
Right? Because they kept on releasing L after L after L.
Yeah.
And then Capcom went silent. They went silent for 2 years. Not more than that, actually. Because then Silent Hill PT came out 2 years later, and then all of a sudden the horror game is just like coming back now.
Revolutionized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
PT was then canceled. All of a sudden, Resident Evil 7.
How long was PT released for, and then out after 10 months? How long did 7 take to come out?
So PT came out in August of... You may have to search this one up when Resident Evil 7 came out, or Resident Evil 7 demo or first trailer came out. But what was it? Silent Hill PT came out August of 2014, and then they announced that they're going to be pulling it they're canceling it in April of 2015.
Okay.
And then May they took it out from the PlayStation Store.
Okay. And then when did 7 come out?
And then during this period of time, this is where the conspiracy is, that they started getting ideas from PT because now they know what works.
Okay.
And because now it's gone.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Resident Evil never does this. All of a sudden they want to do a first person. All of a sudden has to be inside of a haunted house. All of a sudden has to do with a ghostly figure as well.
Tell me the difference, the timing, because
the timing.
It takes a long time for these games to be produced and made.
Correct.
I want to know the time. Right?
There's a good time. Go
ahead. 7 came out in January of 2017.
2017.
Yeah,
exactly. That was pulled in 2015.
2015.
2
years, which makes sense.
It's about 18 months.
It makes sense in gaming terms of developing something and idea making and knowing what works and saving the franchise. And the reason why I'm able to back this up for sure is because when the Resident Evil 7 demo came out, it also got this almost the same hype as PT.
Yeah.
And what was happening is that all these YouTubers, all of them in the React and all of that stuff, made the same comment. This makes me so sad that PT isn't happening. Dang, this reminds me of PT.
Right.
Oh man, this is like what would happen if Silent Hill PT actually went through with it?
Right.
They were all saying the same thing, and it was really swept under the rug as to where the idea came from.
Right.
Capcom released it as saying, we just wanted to try new things because we understood that the feedback of our fans didn't like what we were going.
I guess the conspiracy is that did they really take the idea from PT?
I think so.
Or this was the next step in their evolution of Resident Evil.
They had to.
Right? Because from Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, this exact same way, tank combat, tank controls, exact same type of setup.
Yep.
Way it plays. Then 4 revolutionized it, and then they're like, let's do 4, 5, 6, 5 and 6 didn't really do much.
It flopped.
They have to revolutionize again. 7. Now, did they steal ideas from PT? Probably, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But was this if PT never existed, was this actually the next step to evolutionize its
I don't think so. And the reason why...
What do you think they would do then?
Well, I don't think so. The reason why is because, you see, you don't go from 5 to 6 to Operation Raccoon City and making a L movie of Resident Evil Retribution and get all of these whole, like...
And then they went silent, right, for a while.
They went silent. PT comes out. All of a sudden, they did the same concept. It's in a house. Mm-hmm. It has to do with ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? And on top of that, it's first person. A Resident Evil being first person so late in the franchise, they already have character develops all over. They have 6, 7 characters that they can go off of. Why did they bring a whole new one in? Right? It's the same concept of PT, but they said, we know this works. We know the audience would love something like this.
Yeah.
A creepy ambiance where you can't really, you're constricted when it comes to the controls. Resident Evil 7 did the same thing.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, you don't go from being horrible, and yes, I said it, to being all the way to the number 1 of the gaming industry.
I want to make sure that this comes out as a TikTok.
I'm just saying.
At least like a short for us.
I'm just saying.
Horrible. Resident Evil 6.
No,
horrible.
No, I said horrible. You let me finish. Horrible in sales and numbers. I liked it. I still play it.
Period.
I still have the copy.
The audience has spoken with money.
Yes, exactly, right? But what I'm saying is, it's definitely something to think about, right? None of this is confirmed, but the conspiracy of it is definitely, it's just too similar. Too similar to be true.
You know what else is really similar? You got Resident Evil 6. Got Batman. What do you think was actually worse?
All I'm gonna say is that they're both amazing and they're near and dear to my heart as well. Okay, but yeah, that was the definitely the conspiracy corner, and that's what it is, right? It's not confirmed, but it's something to talk about because it's speculative.
What do you guys think? Write it in the comments.
For sure.
Do you think that Resident Evil pulled from PT, or was it their original idea? I mean, we really won't be able to tell. Although it looks like it was sort of pulled because of the way it was revolutionized and the way it was transitioned from the 6 to 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be possible.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
They realized
Let us know in the comments.
It.
Yeah.
Had to be.
Yeah.
I mean, Silent Hill PT. Oh, they canned it. Oh, we can do the same thing and call it Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. And bam.
And while you're commenting down there, be sure to like, subscribe, and share.
Absolutely. I mean, final segment's over. But yes, so do we have anything else to talk about?
Not
I think
unless
this
you
is
want
a
to
great
discuss Batman.
first episode.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree as well. So thank you guys so much for watching this very first edition of the No Logic Gaming Podcast. If you like what you saw, go ahead and hit that like button and comment down below. Last but not least, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell icon so you can see what we're all making next. So this video,
and if you have topics for us, share in the comments below, and we can kind of go with the audience.
We can talk about it.
Yeah,
absolutely. And then pretty soon this will be released, and then every week we're thinking a Sunday.
Monday,
something like that. Yeah, we can go ahead and start releasing these podcasts, but you can expect it weekly from us. Thank you so much.
See you guys next time.
See you next time.